Hey everybody, it's Ron and welcome back to Batman Book Club. Last time we went through the seminal Batman Year One story by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli, and I thought I'd follow that up with a lesser known story called Shaman. This book was written by the legendary Denny O'Neil with art by Ed Hannigan and John Beatty. And this is a significant storyline because it kicked off the Legends of the Dark Knight series. So the reason why I'm talking about these issues before something like Year 2, for example, is because this story also takes place in Year 1, and there's even a little reference to the first time Bruce Wayne goes out and gets in a fight with a pimp. So it's cool to see how this ties in, but this story is very different. It's much more Batman focused this time around because Year 1 was very Gordon heavy. I like that this book keeps the same costume that Batman had in Year 1 because it really makes this feel like it's in the same world, and I won't go too deep on it here because it's a video for another time, but that's something that I felt was missing in the Year 2 and Year 3 storylines because the vibe was off compared to what was established in Year 1, not just with the costume, but some of the characterization as well. So I really like the way this starts out with Bruce Wayne in Alaska because it's always interesting to see him on his quest to become Batman. And I think the movie Batman Begins took a lot of inspiration from this, Year 1 obviously, and even some of Denny O'Neil's earlier work on Batman with characters like Ra's al Ghul. So yeah, that movie owes a lot to him. Overall, I don't think this is remembered as fondly as Year 1 because it's not as focused to me, at least, and I'm 50-50 on the actual story. There are certain aspects that worked well for me, so I'll start with those. Reading about a young Bruce Wayne making mistakes and redeeming himself was compelling, and I liked his relationship with that Alaskan woman because it shows the tragedy of Bruce Wayne. In another life, he'd probably fall in love with her and settle down, but they both know that it wasn't meant to be. The actual shaman stuff in the story is fine, but I don't like the mask being a bat mask because it's just too on the nose, and I like to think that the first time a symbol of a bat even came to Bruce Wayne's head was when he's sitting in the Wayne Manor and the bat comes crashing through. So having a shaman tell Bruce a story about a bat and the imagery of a bat mask happening before that kind of deflates the Year 1 moment, in my opinion. The villains were okay. I liked the look of the Chubala costume. It was pretty creepy and different for Batman, but it was also a little confusing towards the end with characters like Carl Fisk and Thomas Woodley. Maybe that was just me that had a problem differentiating, but it also might come down to the art as well. The art was pretty solid overall. A lot of the dramatic Batman shots on top of buildings were really great, and the colors make these images pop. So yeah, I liked the artwork, and I liked that it had the same vibe as an early crime-infested Gotham that was set up in Year 1. So no real complaints, aside from this really weird panel of a pig-faced nurse. I don't know, am I crazy? But this panel freaked me out. Anyway, I also liked that Denny O'Neil laid the groundwork for future stories by incorporating the island of Santa Prisca. And this is significant to anyone who's familiar with the Nightfall arc and the one-shot stories that involve the villain Bane. So that was cool to read because I'm a sucker for the cohesiveness of these stories, and I like to feel that everything is connected. So mentioning Santa Prisca definitely helps. I thought it was a smart move for Denny O'Neil to show Batman going undercover because this is something the character would be known to do every once in a while in the more detective-oriented stories. So it was nice to see one of the first time he was in disguise. Having Alfred be held hostage at the end by the shaman killer was a good way to raise the stakes for the ending, and I think it's probably the scariest thing Batman could go through so early in his career because Alfred is the only family member left for Bruce. I know he's not related, but you know what I mean. So yeah, like I said, I don't really like the idea of the whole bat mask thing. the shaman uses in his story that somehow maybe plants the seed for the idea of Batman. And I thought it was kind of silly when the old shaman makes Batman put on his mask to help heal the woman after they get in a car crash. But even though this wasn't my favorite kind of Batman story, I can't deny Denny O'Neil's talent. So I was intrigued enough to keep going with all 5 issues. I guess since it's under the Legends of the Dark Knight series, you could think of this as a non-canon story, but like I said, I like to think everything in this new Batman era, starting with year 1, connects to one another. So let me know what you guys thought about this story if you've read it, and please be sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, it's Ron here with a quick announcement. When I started this channel, I was reading and reviewing the Dune books and other sci-fi related material, and most of you might not know that I'm also a musician. So when I was reading these sci-fi books, I started to get inspired and decided to make my own soundtrack to use for my videos, and now I'm excited to tell you all about the first volume in the Ron Reviews original soundtrack collection. This album includes the first 17 tracks featured on my channel, and it's available now exclusively on Bandcamp. Be sure to check the description of this video for the link to the album. Thanks so much for the support so far. I know I'm just starting out, but I hope you're having as much fun as I am. So check out the original soundtrack Volume 1 on Bandcamp. This music is great if you want something moody and atmospheric to listen to while you're reading some science fiction. I think you're going to love it. Thanks.